Alrighty everybody, we are just hours away from the official release of Obi-Wan Kenobi Episode 6, which is all set ready to debut on Disney+. That is going to conclude the Obi-Wan Kenobi series, for now at least, because a Season 2 is indeed in the works by Disney and Lucasfilm, as well as other creatives coming on board like John, George, Dave, Peyton Reed, and other creators as well. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel for future Star Wars updates. Also, by the way guys, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support. It is greatly appreciated. Now, one thing about the Obi-Wan Kenobi series, alright, we do know that this show was rushed, and we talked about this in the last video if you guys want to go ahead and check it out. We also talked about this briefly about 3 weeks ago, that this show was indeed very much rushed, and I went over the point here that the series was filmed in as little as 2 months. You guys may recall that when they were filming the Kenobi series, it wrapped even faster than the Book of Boba Fett, and that to me was a little concerning even at the time. The fact that it wrapped before, any other Star Wars show, like shorter than any other Star Wars show, really raised a couple of red flags. And I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that episode, 4, I believe it was? Or maybe it was episode 4, was the very short episode, clocking in at 35 minutes of actual footage. But moving beyond all of this, alright, what's even all the more exciting has a lot to do with exactly what's going on with the future of the universe, what's going on with Ewan McGregor, Hayden Christensen, and of course other actors returning to the Star Wars universe as a whole. We already know that Anakin Skywalker is going to make multiple appearances in the new Star Wars canon, so that's another thing to look forward to. But moving from all of that, with Obi-Wan Kenobi Episode 6 set to drop in some hours on Disney+, that will count as the finale, both Hayden and Ewan are getting ready to actually star in other Star Wars TV shows as part of their multi-show contract deal with Lucasfilm. Now, it's described, however, that behind-the-scenes actor and executive producer Ewan McGregor has been very frustrated and angry with Kathleen Kennedy over the Obi-Wan Kenobi series for 2 major reasons that may not come as a surprise to many fans. The first reason had a lot to do with the fact that it was Kathleen Kennedy that pushed for a ton of themes and tracks that John Williams composed for the Kenobi series to be cut from the show. Ewan McGregor was not happy about that at all and never understood why Kathleen Kennedy would want to no longer use the John Williams themes entirely throughout the Kenobi series. Now, surprisingly, originally a Williams track was supposed to be used in Kenobi and Vader's first fight in the Kenobi show, Episode 3. This was later cut out as ordered by Kathleen Kennedy. Kennedy's way of justifying this reason is to not make it feel too cinematic and like a movie, as that could confuse casual watchers of the Kenobi show. Kathleen Kennedy's goal was to not make the series feel too cinematic and big, and wanted to make it feel smaller scale with home-produced style music, such as synth and violin tracks. This was all a Kathleen Kennedy idea that was forced upon Ewan McGregor and other creatives like Deborah Chow and Joby Harold, the writer. In case you guys did not know, Ewan McGregor was an executive producer for, I believe, a handful of episodes on the show, and he really was trying to do, a lot of things for the series that Kathleen Kennedy just really blocked him and did not want him to do for the episodes that he was working on. So that's the unfortunate thing about Kathleen Kennedy, is that this seems to happen time and time again, and I am just so thankful that she's not involved on a creative scale for anything moving forward except for Skeleton Crew. That's it. She's not involved with anything John and Dave related that's, pretty much geared toward the Mandalorian, the Ahsoka series, anything like that. Kathleen Kennedy is not involved. So moving from all of this, alright, Kathleen Kennedy's goal was to not make the series too cinematic and big, and wanted to make it feel smaller scale. Now, another reason why Ewan McGregor is livid with Kathleen Kennedy is that given he was executive producer for a handful of episodes, Kennedy would not allow him to use proper flashbacks in the first episode of Obi-Wan Kenobi. Now, there were a handful of different concepts that they were toying with. Ewan McGregor kept bringing it up to Kathleen Kennedy that it never made sense as to why Kenobi would be dreaming about Anakin pod racing or other scenes from the prequels that Kenobi was not even involved in. McGregor pointed out it was lazy editing and not the best way to showcase his dreams. Kennedy's defense was that it's best to do it that way because it brings in nostalgia. Let me just stop right here for 1 second. Now, in episode 1 of Kenobi, you guys may or may not recall that Kenobi is dreaming while he's sleeping inside of his cave. You have a couple of flashbacks, glimpses really, of the prequel trilogy as a whole. Everything ranging from Qui-Gon to young Anakin to young adult Anakin, and all these different things, right? Vader burning on Mustafar, but then you have moments where you have young Anakin pod racing and stuff around those lines. So McGregor felt that it was very lazy editing, almost kind of as if it came off as just throwing clips over a scene. Honestly, I had no real problem with it, but he does make a very interesting point that why would Kenobi be dreaming of Anakin pod racing? I mean, in the literal sense, he wasn't there, so why would he be dreaming about that? So, obviously, Kathleen Kennedy, that is all on her end. She wanted to just use that as nostalgia, right? And it may have worked for a lot of fans out there. I know it worked for me, but really, McGregor wanted to do something more realistic by using archived footage from Revenge of the Sith of Anakin burning and stuff around those lines, and using an actual nightmare for Kenobi to actually experience instead of these glimpses of footage, like direct footage from the past movies. It almost came off as, kind of like a fan filmish type of situation where you just have clips being thrown over a scene. That's just how I kind of saw it, but it was entertaining nonetheless, but he seems to have had a problem with that. But moving from this, alright, McGregor really had an issue with the whole John Williams situation. McGregor originally wanted to film, however, and use archived footage of Anakin burning on Mustafar as part of the main dream. McGregor brought it up that this came off as amateur and felt like somebody just overlaid clips in Kenobi's sequence. Now, Kennedy refused to use the very scary footage of Anakin burning in Kenobi's nightmare as the main focus point. However, the whole John Williams situation only gets worse, where the final duel between Vader and Kenobi for episode 6 was supposed to have a brand new version of Duel of the Fates to be used in the fight. This new track of Duel of the Fates was later cut and deleted by Kathleen Kennedy to not be used in Vader and Kenobi's final duel. It was once a part of it, but later stripped away by Kathleen Kennedy, as she believed once again that this would make it feel too cinematic and too big for a small-scale Star Wars TV show. Okay, so this is where I have a problem with this. This is not necessarily small scale. This is Obi-Wan Kenobi of all people, alright? One of the most beloved characters in the Star Wars universe. You can't treat it like a small scale project, period, the end. You just can't, I'm sorry. So, to strip away John Williams' great music, which really was lacking throughout pretty much all of the series, really kind of brought the series down to a new low. I think that music really makes a show or a movie, whatever have you. It adds emotion, it makes you feel certain ways, it actually makes you attached to the moment more. And I think that's why the Vader and Kenobi duel was even all the more lackluster, is because it lacked great music. It only had like synth music in the background. So overall, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you guys have to say about this below in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
Night to moon, we hear them moans again.